94.11.
All right, let's take a look at that. So this is going to be first lap, hot lap. I just couldn't find enough to gain on the second lap for it to be worth it. So what we're going to do here is this is a lot about shifting. This is one of the few times where we'll be shifting on the truck schedule, and it gets really weird. So just a couple notes about shifting as a whole. You do not want to shift when the car is still high in the revs. This will kick out your rear tires and cause you to lose all of your grip, and you might think, oh, good rotation, right? No, it's just not good at all. So make sure to only shift when you are at your low revs in the middle of the corner. So I get into third gear for this run up, and what I'm trying to do is basically just get on the gas as early as possible. I might cut down a bit, but it all depends on how the car is pointed at a certain point in the corner. So you see how the car is kind of turning down right now? So now that it's turning down, I'm going to let it come all the way down and kind of straight line the exit. So in 1 and 2, I would say don't short shift because you really need the extra gear to kind of get that speed off the corner. But in this outlap 3 and 4, getting on short shifting slightly kind of helps the car stay under you. So I like short shifting just a little bit and just full throttling off the corner. Probably not completely ideal, but I think it's close enough and easy enough. All right, so that's the first shift, and now we're going to go into our actual hot lap. So I'm actually going to brake pretty early, right about here. So this is pretty early compared to what you would think at Gateway, but these cars take a long time to stop. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get my car to just brake down the hill. What I do not want is kind of a diamond. I don't want a diamond shape. It can work. I just find the timing is a lot harder. I'd rather just have a very consistent brake and get into that pocket. Where am I aiming for? I am aiming for this first seam right here. That's going to be pretty much the pocket that you want to hit your left front on. So I brake all the way in, and then I wait till the revs get very low. So you see below 6,000 at the very least, probably down to about 5,000. And I stay on the brake as I still shift through this, but I pick up the throttle once my car starts weight shifting. So how do I know it's weight shifting? That's a good question. So as you can see, take a look at this point of my car relative to the seam. As we keep going, that point of the car starts sliding up the hill slightly. Well, there's a point, and I'm still on the brake this whole time. There is a point where that stops happening, where my car comes down the hill instead of wants to go up the hill. Notice how my wheel's barely moving. I'm inducing it a little bit with the wheel, but that's because it's hot lap. But the moment that car makes this movement downwards, I get on partial throttle and I drive off the corner. Very important off of 2, you want to take your revs all the way to 8,000. If you don't take your revs all the way to 8,000, you are missing out on multiple hundredths of a second. So you would say, oh, my gauge is red. I'm going to shift right here. If you shift right there, you're losing like probably half a tenth. So just take it all the way up to 8,000 and then shift. Okay. This is a really weird one, isn't it? All right, turn 3 and 4. They're going to be a little different. I'm going to do a little bit more of a sweeping motion, big arc, try to get to the bottom, slightly late apex, same shifting though. So I'm going to brake all the way down the hill, shift when it gets to the low revs, but in 3 and 4, I like to get on the gas right after the shift. So time your shift to where it's right before you want to get on the gas because that helps rotate the car and keep it on the right rear. But you don't want to do it too early or else you're just going to be spinning. So partial throttle, and I'm just holding that partial throttle in a way where I can hold my steering wheel at a fairly constant place and my car is not sliding up towards the wall. So I'm just kind of testing that throttle to see what I can do. So if we go back a little bit, you see I start a little bit more conservative around half, and I'm like, okay, I think I can do more. So I do a little more, and I'm starting to unload the wheel, so I'll do a little more. Starting to unload the wheel, do a little more. And now you see coming off of 4 here, I am actually long shifting again off of 4 because I'm really going for that speed. If I have a really good angle off the corner, you can tell this is a good angle because I don't have much turn left to do for how much distance I have left. So, since I don't have any real threat with the wall, I bring it all the way to 8,000, and you see I just get time off of that because I did the third gear longer than I did previously. Squeezes out a few hundredths here or there, but definitely squeezes a lot of hundredths over a short shift. So just be wary about short shifting in your hot lap. You're going to lose a little more than you think. But other than that, let's go look at the long run. All right, let's take a look at the long run. So I think this is going to be super shifty race. I would probably do it from the first lap. I think you can get away with no shifting for a few laps. It takes a certain type of driving style to make no shift work. You have to be really patient on the throttle because you'll want to gas up really early like you were shifting, but that'll just destroy the right front. The lines, I kind of like the same lines as in qualifying here, but just a little bit more conservative. So like for instance, take the brake a little earlier going into one here. Make sure you really get on that seam. Shift down only when your revs are low. That is super duper important for the race, is that you do not want to downshift before your revs are about as low as they can possibly get. One of the biggest mistakes people make at shifting tracks is they shift too early and it kicks out the rear tires. And you would say, oh, don't you always talk about how you want to use alternate means of rotation? Well, the shift isn't really controllable at all. So it'll kick it out, and basically all you're doing is sliding for no gain. So we want to delay our shift until the very last moment, either of those two. And it'll keep the car kind of stable. Maybe you'll get a little kick out if you do it a little too early, but it shouldn't be too bad. As long as you're not short shifting, downshifting, then you should be okay. And then the other thing is you want to maximize your third gear. So this goes up to 8,000 revs, so like we talked about in qualifying. We want to keep it in third gear, even if it feels like we can shift. We want to keep it in there until we get to that 8,000. Because that's really just giving up free speed if we don't. Three and four, I don't have a definite line for, to be honest with you. I think wrapping the bottom's fine. I think late arcing's fine. I think even kind of diamonding in a way is fine. It's all about how you enter and how you're going to use the least amount of tire. But I don't like entering that bottom. I was trying that out for a bit there in 1 and 2. I don't like the bottom there. I really just like going to the seam. 3 and 4 though, bottom's good. How you know that you're shifting at the right time, downshifting at the right time, is if you don't hear your tires when you shift. A lot of the times if you shift too early, you'll hear the tires screech for a little bit. Yeah, I just like that middle seam so much better than the bottom in 1 and 2. And I don't really feel like I'm particularly pushing it all. The downshift's allowing me to get pretty aggressive with throttle and exit. It allows me to drive the car off the right rear. You know I love those things. But overall, pretty smooth drive once you get the shifting down. So we brake, get it to low revs. Once it's all the way low, we shift and get on the throttle, and then off the corner we wait until 8,000 RPM and then we shift up. Alright, one more corner here and we'll call it a day. Brake into the corner, maybe middle, maybe bottom, shift at lowest revs, maybe bring it down, take a straight line at the exit, wait for 8,000 and then shift up. Get a good run off the corner. Alright, now let's see how we did on tires in that little short run there. The line I don't foresee changing at all. I think that with the shifting, that line in 1 and 2 especially is going to be very consistent. So yeah, 97, 97, we're wearing the tires evenly with that, and it felt like it too, right? No real tight conditions where I was cranking the wheel, and no real kickouts of the right rear that were causing slides. So yeah, just a little 6-lap run there. We're wearing the tires evenly. Make sure that you keep doing that, and you should be good to go for the long run. All right, thank you all for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.